to Monday night's Tilton Talk Show, sponsored by Image Cleaning. When, oh when, is the win going to come? Surely this once great club cannot even consider dropping once again into the lower leagues. The next 4 games are now huge. Hull at home on Saturday, Ipswich away, Bolton away, and then Burton Albion at home. However, has it once again come to this? New manager, no winning 2, yet what I saw against Middlesbrough filled me with a little bit of hope. We've managed to score twice against Cardiff, which not many teams get to do, and for me it's now all about the next 4 games. Mess up and we're down for sure. I shouldn't be writing about this and I shouldn't be talking about it either. I just cannot imagine life in League One. I simply can't. So it's now down to the players when you cross that white line. Just give it your all, everything, that's all we ask. Nothing more, and certainly nothing less. Well, as always, strap yourselves in and get ready for another bumpy ride on the world's only Tilton Talk Show.
We love you, what more can we say? We have the cheapest tops here at St Andrews. They're gonna give us what we're longing for. It's Birmingham forever, let's hear it from the stand. So come on City, sing this song once more. We are the lads from Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy, following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? We are the lads from Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy, following the blues. We love you, what more can we say?
Good evening, everybody out there. Hundreds of you on already. What you've got to do, don't forget to share this on your personal Facebook page to be in for a chance for winning a prize next week. Very good evening, Mr. Fun.
Good evening.
And a massive good evening to our 2 guests, Cliff and Richard. We always say that way around. We'll always be known as Cliff and Richard. From the Blues Trust, come for an update and just give us the lowdown on things that might or might not be happening. We're sitting a week ago. Another week's gone past and we still haven't picked a point up.
Yeah, not ideal, is it?
Now it's starting to worry.
8 games in all competitions without a win. 8 straight defeats in all competitions.
Apparently it's the longest run. It's the worst run we've had since 1979.
Right.
I heard that on the way in. So
Yeah.
It was like, wow. I was there for that one as well.
I wasn't quite around for that one, but I think you have to say, even though it's been 8, you mentioned it in your introduction. The next we said it last week. The next 4 games are our season. That's where our season lies now. Realistically, it would have been nice to get something from Middlesbrough and the Cardiff game, if possible. Obviously, the Middlesbrough game at home. We give it a decent effort against Middlesbrough, but realistically, you knew that the next 4 was going to be our season, and that's where it starts now. So,
Agent House is no spitting people. Very topical subject.
Very
what a
topical.
disgraceful act. What a disgraceful act.
Was,
Man
it was
really should
disgusting,
have known better. He really should have known better.
He's been suspended for Sky, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Use all the excuses
Rightly
he
so.
wants. I saw the video today. He's weighing the window down. He's got plenty of time to see that there's a girl in that passenger seat as well.
Horrible man. I hope he never works again.
It's not nice.
No. Right, welcome to all those people that have joined in so far. As I said earlier, don't forget all you've got to do is share this on your Facebook page and we'll give you an opportunity of winning a prize next week. We've got a competition for later, I take it? Yeah, we have, so we'll do that one a bit later. Welcome to the Blues Trust, guys. What's been happening in your neck of the woods?
Well, we're trying to be quite positive about where things are going. The announcement.
So you're not a supporter then?
No, I mean, obviously, a lot of our talk is about what's going on the pitch, and we're in the same boat as everybody else, desperate to get the win. And as you're saying, next 4 games are our season, really. But the stuff that we look at, how the club's been run behind the scenes and stuff. we're seeing a sort of glimmer of positivity, really, in so much as when the manager obviously departed and the new manager's appointed, there's a whole list that came out with that. So some of the list of the people that departed the club might have been a little bit under the radar, but
Not is that people not necessarily on the payroll, but people who were connected with the club.
Well, we think
without naming names.
Well, we think. I mean, Jeff Vittori went, and he was listed,
and
that was confirmed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of room behind the scenes that some of the advisors that were
Darren Dean,
that were advising the club, or the owners of the club, are no longer here or won't be here soon. And the other positive we've got is,
you have to say sorry before that has to be seen as a positive.
Definitely.
You look at the way we have gone over the last 18 months. I said last week,
completely mismanaged.
It's not the owner's wish for this to happen.
No.
So the owners, whoever's advising the owners, have to carry the can. And from what you're saying, it looks like a few have bit the bullet.
You know, when we've been talking about this in the past, I think the first thing we ever said is they're not sitting there as a board trying to do a bad job.
Yeah, I agree,
it's just the advice they've been getting and the naivety about English football and stuff has put them in that position. And you have to be able to.
But don't you think this is why you should have a supporters group on the board at all times? So that they're getting a fan's eye view of what's going on. You know, we get a feel about people. We see it every day on social networks.
But it's it's a measured fans view. It's not 200 Blues fans on Twitter screaming abuse, telling Zhai Ren that he's this, that, and the other. It's a measured fans response, a group like you guys who will sit down and talk about it in a measured, calm way.
I think we'd like to, the ideal situation is that we win the trust of the board so that we can talk to them about the books and what the plans are and things like that.
So are you saying that as it stands in the board don't trust you?
Well, they don't talk, do they?
They don't talk to anybody. No.
So, but winning that trust and getting into those conversations, what we'd love to be in the position that the fans are a bit frustrated with us because we're saying, no, we've looked at this, we've had a talk about that. Obviously, there's a lot of confidential stuff that goes on there that can't be out on social media that is commercially sensitive. But if you've got a fans group saying, you know what, we're happy that they're doing the right thing here, I think that would help the board immensely.
Yeah.
So we're hopeful that towards the end of this season, the club have said they're willing to have a look at how the supporter engagement works, and so we're taking that they're willing to have a conversation about the magazines and the supporters direct stuff that we've given them about how to engage with fans. They've got things like the Fulham model where they've got a fan on the board and some of the other models that are shown in there. And the last X number of weeks, if you like, where we've got frustrated that people won't speak to us. And thank you to everybody that's joined, helped us on social media and stuff. It's not the thing we want to do, put stuff on social media about the club won't talk to us and things like that. But maybe it has had a little bit of a message, and so we can go into some how we're going to run the supporter engagement stuff with a more positive attitude. That our game is to be collaborative with the club, not to attack them, and so long as things are going well, then what a great message that fans are saying it's going well. And you
builds that connection.
It does, and there's a lot of good examples about how you can build that connection. And I think it's a bit like on the pitch. We've just got to see it through to the end of the season at the moment, and then at the end of the season, see if we can build something for next year and going forward.
I think we've all got to get behind the club, and we've all got to get behind the players, and we as the trust are no different from any of the other supporters groups in that sense. I mean, clearly there are various issues which we believe need to be raised about fan engagement, but at the end of the day, we want to be positive towards the club, and we hope the club responds by being positive towards us, and not necessarily taking us into their confidence with everything, but at least talking to us and realising that we're not going to be protesting all the time, etc., etc., because that's not what we're about. We're about collaboration with the club and moving that relationship forward. And and as Cliff says, we're kind of positive about that.
Personally, I think it's absolutely vital that the supporters are involved, and I know it's kind of a closed shop and shut door kind of scenario, especially with the Chinese and the methods and how they work and one thing and another. But I think it's having that understanding of what we feel like, sat in the Tilton, sat in the main stand, sat in the Cop, and like you say, put it across in a very measured and professional manner. Then I think it's vital. It's vital for every club to have that.
I think I always look at it that if you're sat on a board trying to make decisions about a club, obviously the supporters and the fans don't own the club in that sense financially, and cannot make those decisions. But if you're making decisions as a board member, knowing what the fans think, it's going to make you make slightly better decisions, I think.
I think the thing is that what is perhaps not understood is that there's a lot of huge experience amongst those fans. Now, maybe not so much necessarily in running a football club, but at least a knowledge of the game, a knowledge of the way it works, and to be able to share that experience, we would hope would be beneficial to the club as well.
As a gentleman here, Robert Alford, said they need to understand that you're not the enemy. Well, of course we're not the enemy, but it's our football club as well. It's a very piece of us. Like you say, not financially. It's just ours is emotion, right? Yeah, good or bad.
Do you think Robert's comment about the board considering us not so much enemy, but people who that there can be you can get on the side of the fans or you're against them. Do you think the actions of things like West Ham on Saturday will raise caution with the board, or go the other way and say, actually, if we connect with the fans, then there's less chance of this sort of thing happening?
I think scenes like at West Ham frighten board members and foreign owners, I think, like that. And but I think having that constructive dialogue before it gets to that stage, then the fans being a mouthpiece for a good board is really helpful to them, I think. Would you get to that stage if there was a bunch of West Ham... I'm not saying this is the case at West Ham, but if you've got a West Ham trust which was saying, you know what, hold fire a bit, guys, because we've looked here, we've got this message, and,
Well, actually, weren't the West Ham board talking with the ICF last week? So, if there's a group of fans you want to be associated with, it's probably not the best idea to go with them. But
and you can be in a situation, that you don't think it's all going very well. But then you need to try and work it out with the club. And I think this thing about being the enemy is, if you're on social media saying there's something wrong with the club and what's going on, you do get seen as the enemy by the club.
I think we might have been detriment to that.
We live in a country of free speech.
We
have been, without a doubt.
I think there's such a thing as
absolute frustration, isn't it?
There's such a thing as constructive criticism.
Of course.
And I think that
no effing and jeffing and going on. Put it down as it is. Say it as it is, but say it as it is. No hide behind it.
Absolutely right. And try and put over your message, but in a respectful way, which gives the board the opportunity to sit and consider what's been said, and then react accordingly.
Okay, Carl Clough has asked a question. So where are the Blues Trust with it all? Is there going to be some meetings?
We've had a number of people over. The membership's increased with the social media presence and presence on this show and things like that. And thank you everybody for that. We've had a number of people of those new members saying they're willing to help and they've got some skills to help us. And we're going through all those people at the moment and increasing the number of people doing work on behalf of the trust and ultimately the club, hopefully. So we're going through that. We just had a board meeting today to work out how we engage those people that want to get engaged, and so there will be more engagement of people who are members. It's a democratic organisation, so every year we have an AGM, and so new members can be elected onto the board. We have got positions on the board, and so some of those people that want to be interested, we can co-opt onto the board.
Okay.
We don't think there's a case for having any protest meetings or anything next week. We've got to see the season out. We've got to see where we are. We've got to talk constructively with the club about how it's run and get that sorted out.
On our hands. We can't. We had one last time.
We had a mini one with Golden Sullivan.
Yeah.
You don't want another one.
No.
Yeah, I think the appeal that we put out there, that people to ask the questions that we were asking, has gone really well, and there's a lot of people asked it, and there's been a lot of interest in the trust, which is great, because as we go to the club now, we can say, look how our membership is growing, you need to speak to us, and it's really powerful to say that.
Yeah, I think the message of the number of increase in people joining the trust is perhaps a comment on the fact that we are asking the questions that people want answered.
Well, we had 37,000 last week, Chris? 37,000 people watched this show around the world last week. Now, if that isn't a voice, what is?
Exactly.
But the club won't speak to us.
Yeah.
Not at all. We can't accommodate you at this time. That's it. That's all we get.
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah.
Why?
And Nick, we're hoping...
Because all we want... No, you probably did. But all we want, from our point of view, we want to speak to the kit man. We want to speak to a player. We want, a goalkeeper to come in and take one on the nose occasionally. Because these people here, hundreds of people, have got questions they want to have answers, right?
Yeah.
And we can't get anything, absolutely, literally no further than the front door.
Yeah, and the positive we're taking out of let's review how we're engaging with fans is that discussion. If we can get that, I think all supporters groups can be involved in that discussion. That's where we'll be raising. Well, Tilton Talks. Look at the amount of people that look at it. You must talk to those people, and stuff like that. Or even if you want to speak to one group of people, but we'll speak to them for you or whatever. It's
well, if it, like you say, if there's a connection between yourselves and the club, and we have you guys on a regular basis, then that is our way. That we do get a sort of an in, don't we, as such? But
and they do listen, don't they, Chris? They do. He hasn't got a microphone today. Right, couple of comments coming in now. How is it, from Kev Kelly, how is it our club other than emotional? We need to have a business footing with the owners. Can we acquire shares in sufficient volumes to make a difference?
Well, we've got a very small shareholding in the trust. But because we're very small, way under 1%. Way under 1%.
It's 600-700 shares, I think.
But the club is 97% owned by Trillion Trophy Asia, effectively, or by the Birmingham City PLC.
The club is.
Yeah. So there is little opportunity to purchase shares because the only shares that the trust can hold tend to be from other individuals who retain their shares when Carson Young took over. And that's about 3% of the shares. However, having said that, it doesn't give you a significant voice because the club doesn't actually have to hold an annual general meeting because of the financial structure. The critical thing really would be to hold shares in Birmingham Sports Holdings, and we've looked at that. But sadly our funding doesn't actually allow us to do it because when we made the inquiries through stockbrokers in the UK, we needed to find £10,000 to buy shares to make it worth the while the brokers acting on our behalf.
Right.
So it's a route we would love to take. We talked about the opportunity of attending the AGM at the back end of December and getting shares to enable us to do that, but sadly our financial resources can't allow
isn't
it.
You walk around St Andrews against Hull on Saturday, a tenner a ticket. You walk around, you get every single person in that ground to put a £1 in a bucket.
Yeah. Because you could then attend the AGM and you could ask the questions of the Chinese board who will be attending the AGM. It would have been wonderful to have been able to do that last December, but sadly it wasn't to be.
Is that something that you would consider, what Chris has just said then?
Well, we certainly have...
If everybody was aware of it, if everybody was aware of the situation, and somebody came around with a bucket with Blue Trust on it and said, put your £1 in, and this will go towards... I'd certainly do it, but it goes towards purchasing shares in Birmingham Sports Holdings, so we get a voice on the board of the people who own our club. They'd do it.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You wouldn't get a voice on the board. You'd get a voice at an AGM.
Well, yes, sorry.
Which
Yeah.
Which and yes, you could go along to an AGM,
But at least you have got the opportunity to ask questions.
But again, that's sort of saying we're going to come along and ask you the awkward questions, and you're going to try and avoid answering them. And actually, well, it's a frustrated way of trying to get in.
Yeah.
If we can get a conversation going and work collaborative with them, it's better than having shares.
Yeah.
But if shares are the only way in, then we'll pursue it.
Yeah.
Some of the comments coming in, Gary Barnfield, some of the board have only been there 5 minutes. The fans have followed their whole life, so surely they deserve a say. Whether they deserve a say or not, we can't get one, as it stands at the moment, okay? Robert Doyle, it doesn't really matter if they talk to the trust, it's all about money for these football boards. Adrian Howell, the trust has always had a place, but needs to be involved with all fan groups. Will that happen in the future?
Yeah, we're happy to be involved with all the fan groups. I mean, to be fair, we did something with Adrian a season ago when Blues for All, and we managed to get an event where all the fans groups were invited for a charge for meals and stuff at St Andrews, and Tom Ross night. It was a fantastic night. I think there's some history in the trust that I haven't got a clue about, because I've only been here for 18 months really in this capacity, where I think there was a falling out between different fan groups and the trust and stuff like that. It's history that I don't know about, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
And we've talked about, wouldn't it be great if the trust was made up of all the chairs of the different fan groups and things like that? We're willing to look at those sort of things.
Right, okay, so any of you fan groups out there, get in touch with the Blues Trust and let's see if we can get something off the ground up and running.
Have a sensible discussion, and as I say, there's some board positions at the moment. We can co-opt people.
So
onto the
you're
board.
kind of looking for like admins of the groups and that then?
Yeah.
So admins of all Facebook groups, get in touch with the Blues Trust and let's see if we can buckle up and do something together.
And to be fair, there's one or two of those admins in our list of people that have said, can we help?
Right.
And so we're speaking to some of those at the moment.
Well, are people speaking to their people still, Chris? Still speaking. But if you was to say give Chris, for instance, a contact of where, then he could put it on it, because you've got access to all the Facebook pages now, haven't you?
Yeah.
And there are thousands and thousands of people out there.
Yeah.
Then all we've got to do is try and pull them together.
It's probably a million steps down the line. But say a line of communication opened up and this, that and the other, and obviously we're aware of what this company are. They're a holdings company, and they're probably not going to be around in 5 years' time. But say 2 years down the line, there's been a line of communication opened up, and there was a, what am I looking to say? Like a way of getting a say on the board, becoming a very big part of what the board just does. Is that something you'd want the pressure of? Yet you're happy to take that on. It's not just it's not just we want to be able to talk to the board and understand what they're doing. It's actually we want a big part in it.
If the club wanted a fan member on the board, then
I'd be more than happy to
do it. And I think within the trust, and obviously other people can join the trust. And if there's an opportunity being elected to be that person through the trust, because it is democratic, then more and more. And it would have to be somebody qualified enough to sit on the board for it. I mean, to be fair, most of the board of the trust are ex-company directors and that sort of things, or financial directors and stuff. So I think we've probably got the qualifications to go and do that. But as I say, we could find somebody who's qualified to do that if that was the case.
So it's not just a step where you go so far and you say, okay, we're happy here. Actually, the aim is to go further.
I think
it would be great.
I think if you come back to the Supporters Direct document called Engage, which is this publication they made towards the back end of last year, and which we have in fact shared with the board at Birmingham. One of the key objectives of Supporters Direct is actually moving towards a supporter director, and I think that's also, if I'm not mistaken, the policy that Tracy Crouch, the sports minister, actually believes is the right approach. So in the end, one would hope it would come about through
Legislation.
well, not necessarily legislation, but be accepted by the football authorities that is an appropriate route to go down to recognise the supporters' role with regard to the football clubs.
Quite often, if you get a supporter director on the board, they're probably not a voting member, but they do get involved in board business and discussions. But obviously, they've got no financial stake in it like the owners, so it might be a non-voting member.
Comments are going in thick and fast tonight. Right, okay, Jez McDonald and somebody else just a little earlier says, can't the club be sold now that 2 years has passed? And the other person asked, is the club going to be sold by the end of the year?
Well, the 2-year anniversary actually is in October of 2018.
Which
so
is the same time as the thingy runs out on the ground.
Yeah,
Are we up for
ACB.
renewing that community asset thing?
I left a message with someone at the council this morning, waiting for a call back on that.
Here's an appeal, because we've been talking about this today. Anybody who knows the person at the council that deals with asset of community value, drop us a line. Because we've been round 3 or 4 different people at the council.
Well, we must have some letterheads off them somewhere.
Well,
from previous correspondence.
There is a name on the form.
Right.
The lady concerned, I had a conversation with her about 9 months ago. She was extremely helpful and pointed me in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
The person that she pointed me towards, sadly, has also now passed the buck to another person. It's no longer his responsibility. So I've been communicating with another individual, and I'm hoping to hear from him at some stage.
Okay, cool.
The people on the forums are historically dealt with it.
In fairness, just to be fair to the folks at the council, the legislation regarding an asset of community value is not clear, and there is no clear indications to what the process is for renewing that or whether to re-register, and I think that's part of the complication. But we will be pursuing that.
Can I just quickly say there's been quite a few comments on here offering to help as well regarding the Facebook page. So, if it doesn't work out with the person you're speaking to, they can get in touch with you. Yeah.
And to be fair, we will take it all. And
there's been quite a few
people that help with different things.
Good stuff
for us.
Okie dokie.
Anthony Hardy says 37,000 is a fair old voice. It is, but it's your voice as well as mine. We're just here to facilitate it. It's you people that matter. And somebody has asked the question: how many members do you have on the in the trust at the moment?
There's about 300.
Just a moment. Here we go.
About 350.
320, something like that at the moment.
320
paid up members.
320 paid up members. There's 37,000 of you out there.
That's gone up quite considerably recently.
It's doubled recently.
Right, okay, an intrusion into the studio tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's our dear friends Matty, One-Eyed Baz, and another gentleman, don't know your name, Adam, and they've come to not rob my car, but rob what's in it, because I've been collecting stuff over the last few days, and would like to say a special thank you to Sharon, to Mark Tompkinson, Hannah Eady and the team at Tesco's for their generous donations, to Penny, to Sam, to I'm going to miss somebody out, I'm going to feel really bad.
Anybody else in those, mate?
To the lady who donated all the ladies' underwear, believe it or not, an absolute box full of it. Can't remember her name now. And anybody else that knows me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disappear for the next 3 or 4 minutes. So if you could go on that, and I'll just go and pass the wonderful items over to these fine people who do a marvellous job. Get supporting them. They are called the Birmingham Homeless Support Team. The Birmingham Homeless Support Team. There's plenty out there on Facebook going on, and always looking for support. Right, so I'm going to leave you with it for a couple of minutes, gentlemen, if I could just...
Okay.
I'll just run through a couple of the questions on here, guys, that have come through. One of them from Adrian. What extra benefits can fans get by being a member of the Trust rather than just a follow on social media?
There's the benefit that you get voting rights. So if as a board we're not asking the right questions, you don't think we're doing the right thing, you can either stand yourself or you can vote us out and
Yeah.
put some different fans on there that want to say the right
Yeah.
thing. So that's what you get by being a member. But I remember when I first joined the trust as a member rather than getting involved on the board, I just thought, if somebody's doing some research and trying to look after our interests, I'm really willing to put a fiver in the pot for
Yeah,
that.
of
And that's when I joined, that's how I thought about it.
Yeah.
I didn't think, do I get a raffle ticket or anything like
No,
that, or
yeah.
a prize for it.
Entrance
I
to
thought
something, yeah.
putting a fiver in the pot so that some people will put some time in, because all the board members and all the work that gets done on behalf of the trust
Yeah.
is purely voluntary.
Yeah.
And I have to say, we're absolutely loving having the extra membership at the moment,
Yeah.
and that. But dealing with that is almost like a full-time job for 2 or 3 people at the moment. and whilst we love doing it, don't get me wrong, and everybody does it for free, it's quite a commitment to do the board sometimes. And
of
so
course.
really happy to be doing it. Sharing that out is something that we're trying to do
More
so that
effective,
we can be more effective. But
Yeah. Absolutely. Jez asks, why haven't the trust been to Hong Kong to headquarters looking for answers? That again, a financial more than
it is.
logistical issue.
I think it's a bit financial, a bit language barriers and stuff like that. I'd say never on things like that.
Yeah.
The stronger it comes back to.
But actually, isn't that why people like Zhuandong Ren are here at the club? So that people don't have to go trekking halfway across the world to ask a member of the board.
Yeah, I think so. And if you knock on a door over there, anybody going to really understand you or speak to you? Never say never on things like that. But really, we want to get this constructive thing going in at St Andrews and know what's going on. I think we're really indebted to Daniel Ivory that with the work that he does. We've got a little bit more funding in the trust at the moment, and one of the things that we have done in the past and would do again is fund Daniel to do research for us sometimes.
I think that Daniel's role is a vital role, and certainly
fully paid member. Of the trust.
He is a
Daniel.
fully paid member. He's actually he is member number 1.
Oh, is he? Okay. There you go.
Because I think he was instrumental in setting the trust up when it was originally set up. It may well have been his idea. We're fully supportive and always in communication with Daniel. And he, over a period of time, has developed a lot of contacts. And we would want to work with Daniel regarding any issues with visiting Hong Kong, because we don't want to tread on the very good contacts he's built up.
Yes.
And so we have to bear that in mind, but be aware that we do talk to Daniel a lot about this sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And there's obviously that, like you said, there's a trust that he's built up with people over there, and that's not something that we want to destroy, really, is it?
No, he's got as much knowledge of what's going on over there as anybody. He's gained that over X number of years. So, and he's willing to share things with us, which is fantastic.
And this has probably answered that. You've probably already answered this question, but Jez wants to know, why haven't the trust been to Hong Kong, to the headquarters, looking for activity?
We've just been answering.
We've gone through that one. Yeah.
I'll shut up then.
Who are on the trust board and with their roles at present? So obviously, not going to name all 320, but you've got you two in tonight.
There's a board that obviously takes the decisions and things like that on behalf of the members. On the board at the moment, I think there's 5. Is there 5 of us?
5 people.
So I'm the chair. Richard there's research and lots of things financial. We've got a treasurer. People will know treasurer's Peter Ball. People will know Margaret Decker. She writes her own blog, and she's secretary of the trust. And there's guy Phil Beardmore, who joined at the same time as me, I think, who he writes some articles and helps us out as a board member. And Karim Adib joined us this year. He was elected at the AGM, and he started to pick up on comms and PR, and hence we've had a he's helped so much in that.
Perfect.
That was 6, wasn't it? Not 5.
Yeah, 6. Yeah, that one.
Trouble counting.
Richard's in final.
I don't do the finance.
Yeah.
I could get on well with the board.
My brother Lee, who was actually a prize winner in last week's competition, so he's earned himself some Birmingham City kit. He's on. He feels so much negativity coming from the fans. You're in a hole, dig deep, and you will stay up. All I see is comments of when we go down. Why are you so negative? I'm a Villa supporter, and banter aside, I don't want to see this. Where is your fight?
I don't think it's gone.
It's not gone.
I think it's a realistic assessment of where we are on the table. There's not many games left, and Barnsley are playing tomorrow night in their game in hand. If they win, we're 5 points away from safety with 10 games left. It's not when will we go down. We're very aware of the situation. If we don't get 10 points from the next 12 games, we're probably in a lot of trouble. It's certainly not an acceptance. It's not a resignation that we're down. It's a resignation of where we are in the table and how important these next few games are.
Right.
I think I have to say credit the club for whoever decided on the £10 for the hall, because for such a massive game to do those ticket prices to get as many through the door is brilliant. I think.
Dennis has asked if you can get some WD-40 for the door, Chris, when you get a minute. Well, let's tell him in a minute. He's got his back turned. Right, okay. Kev Kelly says speak directly to the Cabinet Member for Planning and Regeneration, a councillor who has to respond to inquiries within 14 days under council communication policy.
Okay. Good shout.
So the cabinet member for planning and regeneration.
Okay,
there you go.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Kevin. So helpful these people.
It is.
Yeah,
Great shout. Thank you.
Yeah,
Proper team. Everybody's saying on things like how reclusive the board are. You're not going to make any impact if we don't try. We don't know.
Again, that's like your brother's just said. It's a negative attitude that people have that you could understand based on the last 5 years. With the exception of 6 months of Panos Pavlakis, going out nightclubbing in Birmingham and people having a chat with him here, there, and everywhere. We haven't heard from anybody or anything. Apart unless they're sacking a manager or backing a manager. Do you know what I mean? So again, it's an understandable view, but this is what Cliff and Richard are saying now, that this is our ambition to change that view.
Yeah. And our dilemma at the Trust is always, we don't want to be a protest organisation. We want to be a collaborative organisation that can hopefully bring good news out and things like that, or say there's more work to be done and things. And you get a name, or you can get recognised for organising protests. That's when you become recognised.
Yeah, that's true.
And we will have. I'm not saying we'll never organise a protest, because at some point you might have to. But that's not where we want to be at all, and that's not what we see the membership.
Is there a worry also from the opposite side of that if there was something that was opened up and you came out and a few things happened that fans weren't particularly happy with, but you were coming out defending the board and trying to put a positive spin on things that people might see you as a bit of a mouthpiece or something?
I think it's a very fine wire to tread. It's like a tightrope. I mean, we want to do things that are beneficial for the supporters and the club, but that is our number one stance. But equally, in the sense of constructive comment, we want to be able to say things that maybe are not quite so easy for the board to hear. But we don't do it in a sense of wanting to be constantly criticising or protesting. We do it in the sense of a constructive approach. I mean, if, for example, there had been someone available for the board to talk to from the supporters, it does make you wonder whether they'd have made some of the decisions they have made over the last 15 months or so. I mean, they may well have still gone down the same route, but you just wonder if another voice might have helped to avoid those.
Just calming them down a little bit.
But I think from my point of view, I'd rather
Turn that round again.
not have a profile out there, but be working 3 days a week with the club
Yes.
to make it better for the fans and better for that.
Yeah.
So and our profile has increased recently because we've asked questions on social media, etc. We'd prefer not to ask the questions on social media, but to be working them through with the club.
Of course.
And it's frustration that's put us in that position at the moment. So,
Okay, ladies and gents, this is our wonderful team of volunteers whose job they've created for themselves is to collect items for the homeless people of Birmingham. The cold snap might be over, but the problem still exists. Great guys, these three, and the work they're doing. We've just filled the van up. Very, very grateful to everybody that's donated everything. You got a mic now? Yeah, go on. Yeah, of course you can. No problem. And keep up the good work. And please, if there's anybody out there that's got anything that these guys could use, get in touch with either Baz, Matty, Adam, myself, anybody here on the show. We'll put in touch with them, or the Conservative Club in Chelmsley Wood. That's correct. Yeah, the Connie Club in Chelmsley Wood. They will accept your donations as well. So please, if there's anybody out there with anything that can help these guys, help other people, then please do so. And I say I'm very grateful for the people at My Way that have donated, even though it's Birmingham and I live in Staffordshire. It doesn't really make any difference. The problem exists. It's out there, and it's very, very, very real. So thanks, gents, for all you do.
yeah, thank you.
Top man.
Yeah.
Stop, blokes.
Yeah. Right. Stuart McDonald wants to know what does Mr. Wiseman actually do at the Blues. Seen him at games probably because he gets him for nothing. But the family have been involved for Blues 40, 50 years. Is he actually on the board? When he was on the Tilton talk show, didn't actually say what he does at BCFC. Well, we'll give another invite then, shall we?
We will, yeah.
I think he's got more of a vice president type role. I think he's a board member, isn't he? But I think he's got more of a
It's an
presidential
ambassador
type
role, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think actually he is an important connection with the past, and I think there's an element of kind of tradition which exists in all football clubs, and I think it's good to have a family that's actually, or a member of a family that's been involved in the club for so many years, still involved, because it gives you a sense that there is still someone there that
I was
has
thinking about that
Blues
on
interests
Saturday
at heart.
after the West Ham thing, and the owners were asked to leave, advised to leave the director's box, and then it panned to just Trevor Brooking sitting there on his own, and you think what a sad state of affairs. I remember last season when we got, can't remember who beat us at home under Zola, and there was a lot of people going towards the director's box. And as I walked past towards the end, it was just Mike Wiseman sitting there on his own. It made me think of that actually. That actually there's people in that director's box who really deeply care.
And actually, can I add Roger Lloyd's name to that, because he certainly, there was one game, I think it might have been QPR, and there was a lot of flack coming from the fans, and I'm quite sure that Roger, who's the chief financial officer at the company, has Blues in his heart as well. So there are people who work there who are very dedicated people.
Oi Matty B, that's from Andy Smith. Andy Smith says oi Matty B. Oi Matty B. Give us a wave, Baz. I think there are a few ex-Zulus on the Tilton talk tonight. Oi Baz, want a fight? That's from Aaron. Heath Burgess says, are we getting robbed?
They've just had the bedding away.
Dear. Don't forget we're celebrating grandparents against Burnt Albion. Go on our website to recommend your grandparents at www.knbp.co.uk. There you go. Don't know what that is, we'll have a look later. The best of Brum, well done lads. New cold snap coming in this Sunday, by the way. So yeah. Looks like Mrs. Brown's got the security staff in. Can you give Baz and Co the smelly flag? Dear. Right, okay, competition time. Could we pull out a competition? One of those wonderful gentlemen behind you do it, could they? Oh, right, okay. No problem. No worries at all. Yeah. Baz Tommy is outside from B6. Travelling Tommy. Yeah, and of course, as I say, with these guys and the work they do, it is a year-round problem.
Yeah.
Every time I park the car, there's one lad literally right at the bottom of the car park every time I go into town. So do what you can, guys. Do what you can. Mike Wiseman actually tried to engage with the angry mob and calm them down. All right.
Yeah,
that's incredibly brave of him. If that was the case, Kev.
Yeah.
Well, everybody beat us at home when Zola was there. All right, let's have a quick chat about the game on Saturday then. We scored twice against Cardiff, which has got to be a positive. It's got to be a positive.
Second half. Second half. One of the positives of the season, really, that what we've been used to with Blues, like we got 4 points all season when we've gone 1-0 down. We've only got 4 points back from those games. So actually, you can't forget the capitulation and the poor goals we conceded, but actually the reaction at half time, whatever Monk said to them, whatever the situation was, the way they set up for the second half, it was a hell of a lot better. And actually, if it's fight, passion, commitment, whatever word you want to use, if it's that you're after, then being 3-0 down at a side or a second in the league and losing 3-2 shows all that you want, really. So credit to them for the second half. If we can put in a solid first half as well to match that, then that's why, for me, I'm not resigned to relegation yet, because I think the next 4 games, especially if we put anything like 90 minutes of what we did in the last 45 minutes against Cardiff, I don't see any reason why we can't get 10, 12 points out of it.
Tall order.
It's a tall order, but do you know what? They showed in the second half that they are good enough, and they've showed against Leeds at home and against Sunderland at home that they are good enough to beat teams in this division. The change to 4-4-2, fans are a little bit happier about that. I think I'm a little bit concerned defensively. Maybe that cost us a little bit from being 3-0 down at half time. But actually, it's a mentality thing, isn't it? I think, and really, especially in games where you've now got to go and win. Actually, if you say we are going toe to toe with you, we are going to play 2 up front. We don't care if we're defensively a little bit lacking. But actually, we want to go and win the game. We need to score goals. So it might leave us a little bit more open, but actually, we need to score goals to win games.
Kev Bruce says drop stocking. It was nice to see you as well last week, Kevin. Thanks for popping by and saying hello. How about that? Got recognised outside St Andrews.
Celebrity.
Absolutely, celebrity status. Jez is saying...
What was his comment, sorry?
Kev, drop stocky.
Tough call.
I still wouldn't. I know the first goal was a poor one to concede. I think he'll be disappointed with that one. The second 2 was poor defending. I'm not sure if he could... I don't know if I'm putting the blame at him for the second 2, but the first one was poor. He'll be the first to admit that it was poor. He chucked it in at Forest. The first goal at Forest, he was disappointed. He should be disappointed with, but I still think overall he's the best goalkeeper we've got at the club, and I think I'd stick with him.
Anthony Luke Bravington says I've got faith in us staying up, and Kedru says we need to score first on Saturday. That would be a big plus, wouldn't it?
It makes such. I mean, I don't know how many times I said it under Rowett. How many games we were discussing, and I said first goal is so important because if we score it, we've got something to hold on to. It lifts the players. It happened under Rowett, and it's happened for so what's that been 2.5 years now, where actually the first goal means so much in a Blues game. And you're right, if we go 1-0 down on Saturday in a must-win game, it could turn the atmosphere again. But I like I said, I think we got more than enough to beat Hull side. They're poor on their travels. I know they won on Saturday. I think they've won their last 2 home games, but they're poor on their travels. You watch them go beat Ipswich tomorrow night. But I think we've got enough to beat them at home.
Steve Gill's asking when is David Davis back. I don't know.
I think he'll be back Saturday.
Saturday, you reckon?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people saying Hodger's confidence is coming back, and Dennis is saying put him in the middle and give him a free rein.
I have to say, he played on the right against Middlesbrough at home. I thought he was the shining light from the Middlesbrough game. Yeah. We were happy to give him the ball. He was happy to have it. He was trying a few people by me were, moaning a little bit, getting a bit grumbly when he was trying forward passes and it wasn't quite coming off. But actually, the fact you're trying those forward passes rather than passing it sideways or back to Stockdale when people are getting frustrated at that, I'd rather you try and create something going forward. If you try a forward pass and it goes through to the keeper, it doesn't quite work out, give it him again and try it again. Do you know what I mean? Rather than have possession for possession's sake, at least he's trying something. I was impressed with him at against Middlesbrough. And I think he'll play a big part in these 4 games.
Both Cole Colclough and Robert Dawes saying need to keep Jensen away from the first team. He's shocking, and Carl says we've got to drop Jenkins.
That would be the change I'd make. The fullbacks personally.
But what do you think? I keep thinking have a problem at left back and not have a problem at right back.
Have a problem both. Do you know what I mean? If you've got a problem at left back, I'd rather have that than have 2 problems at both full-backs. Play Colin in his position at right back, where he's comfortable, where he's happy, behind Hotter, who he knows. If he's going to play Hotter outright, he knows Hotter from Brentford, Colin. Play them 2. If you want to play, you could play Jenkinson left back if you want to, and see how he goes at left back, or play Bramall, especially now where we got to the stage where we've got to win games. Play Bramall and push him forward and try and get defences on the back foot. I certainly, for me, I would be reverting Colin to right back. And
Stuart McDonald says we had 58% possession, no forwards scored. If Colin scores again, he will be our highest scorer. We still need forwards to play more forward, not shoot from outside the box. Play more in the opposition's area. And when we play inside opponents' box areas, it would be nice to see at least 4 Blues shirts in there.
But that's confidence. That is. That's confidence. That's forward players having the confidence that if they're going to make a run forward, they're going to get the ball, and it's confidence from the midfielders that actually they're going to push teams back and try and get balls into the box. And it came back a little bit against Middlesbrough. I felt it. It certainly felt a lot more like we could get something out of the game rather than the Millwall and Barnsley games that preceded it, which were just woeful. The Middlesbrough game was, even though we lost, it was a world away from those 2.
It was an acceptable game, wasn't it?
Yeah. For a side, a well organised side, you know what you're getting with Pulis. You joke about it. The first goal in a game with Blues versus a Pulis side, that solves it.
Shut up shop.
So it was disappointing to concede when we did, but actually, like you say, there was something there to cling on to. We've had something to cling on to, positives to take from the Cardiff game. And Monk knows this now. I think that was the important point about getting him in when he did. Not stacking Cottrell now. It was important that they got rid of him when they did. So Monk's seen these 2 games. He's seen what's available to him. And now he's got these 4 games.
I think confidence is...
We have to say to our wonderful team of volunteers here. That's Matty, Baz and Adam. Again, thanks guys for all the work you do. Birmingham Homeless Support Team. Look them up on Facebook. If you've got anything that these guys could use, anything whatsoever, please get in touch with either 3 of them or anybody here or the Conservative Club in I forgot where it is again. Chelmsley Wood. Yeah, they will gratefully accept your donations on behalf.
The support's been amazing. Off everyone. The support we've getting is unbelievable.
Just like to thank everyone for the amount of support and donations we'll be getting off everyone. Pugsy's Diner in Liverpool just made a contribution to us for was it years
free rent.
Years free rent of premises.
Absolutely marvellous.
And the Lions.
The Football Lads Alliance as well. They've donated 30 rucksacks and some torches. Justice for the 21 campaign. They've donated as well. They're always supporting us.
And there's a very good footballer friend of mine. Well, he says I mustn't mention his name. Who donated loads of sleeping, about probably 30-40 odd sleeping bags, brand new, and loads of toiletries for the homeless people as well.
Excellent. Keep up the good work, guys, and thanks for all that you do.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Cheers, lads.
Right, competition winner, thanks also for pulling out the competition winner. The competition winner is Dan Jones. Dan Jones, you've won last week's competition. Get in touch with the show and some goodie bags will be on its way to you. That's Dan Jones. Dan Jones.
What were you saying about confidence? Sorry, Rich.
Yeah, I think confidence is a big issue, and what I noticed at the Cardiff matches, sometimes when Birmingham are going forward, it's almost like they won't push home their advantage quickly enough because they're almost a little bit scared to do it. And I think there were a couple of occasions against Cardiff when they could have actually attacked more quickly, but held on to the ball because they wanted to keep possession. They didn't want to lose it, didn't want to take the risk. And I think with a bit more confidence, then maybe their speed of attacking will increase, which actually will give them a chance of scoring the goals.
And I think you win a game and you watch how that changes.
Yeah.
You know, you get that win, you get that monkey off your back, beat Hull at home.
Yeah.
You watch how that changes against Ipswich Bolton.
Yeah.
I think Ipswich Bolton Burton then is all in the space of a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you beat Hull, you go into that 2-week break on the back of a win, confidence boosting win, and hopefully everybody else hasn't won and you're in the same situation. Hopefully you've closed that gap a little bit. And you watch how that changes for those 3 games after that then.
Yeah.
Steve Kelly says we may have lost 7 in a row, but at least we don't have to play Oasis over the tannoy to get some atmosphere.
Oh, don't get me started on
brilliant.
that nonsense.
Can I please thank whoever has fixed the speakers in the Tilton Road. I could hear everything perfectly clearly on Tuesday night. It was an absolute pleasure. But crank it up a bit more. Do Richard and Cliff talk? Yes, they do. They've been talking all evening. Andrew and Riley, thank you for that one.
Sorry, it's my fault for being
It's Cliff and
ranty.
Richard, not Richard and Cliff. It's Cliff and Richard.
And to be fair, we watch Tilton Talk for the football, not for us. We're really pleased to be on, and we've been having a good go earlier on. I'm sure we'll come back in a bit.
Good to have you on.
Yeah, if we could sort of like get regular updates as to what you're doing, and the people hear the response from people. Okay,
but you can see at the start, people want to ask questions. People want to know what's happening with.
And then I did see a lady say, "Can we talk football?" We would just when I saw that comment. Yeah. But of course, even if we're talking Blues Trust, we're still talking Birmingham City Football Club. It's about the football club, not just specifically the game or.
Yeah, but I mean, but the lady concerned.
Got a complaint in a minute.
It's got a fair point, because I mean this is the difficulty, isn't it? This is a dilemma. We all want to talk about the football. We'd much rather talk about the football.
Yeah.
We don't want to be talking about all the other the other issues that are going on, because at the end of the day, the reason we go to the game is to watch the football. Absolutely. But unfortunately, there are other things that go on in the background which influence our enjoyment of that football.
Absolutely. All right, complaint time. Catering.
Is it to me?
Yes. Direct to you.
Okay.
Right. Now, I go to St Andrews on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And I go to get
the Middlesbrough game.
Yes.
Yeah.
I go to get half a lager from the guy walking around the concourses with a backpack on.
Okay.
They don't.
This is a catering issue.
Do halves.
He won't have halves because they'll just.
It wouldn't sell me a half a pint. I was driving, so I don't wanted a half a pint. Right? Birmingham City Football Club wouldn't sell me half a pint. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not in authority to pour you half a pint. I'm a personal licence holder. I could have given the authority. I wanted half a pint, so the club have lost revenue.
Just gone to the bar?
You know what the bar's like. You can't get to the bar. You can't get to the bar. All right? He got no half pint glasses.
Yeah, well, he won't have, yeah.
Why?
Because it's in his pack. They've only got space for the points.
I think the Trust are willing to take it up as an issue, but it's probably 5 or 6 years down the road.
Listen, if you're struggling to get half a pint from a guy who's willing to serve you a pint, is the biggest issue with the catering down St Andrews.
Yes, but
I'll bring him a round of applause.
But if we don't bring these things up, they'll never get attended to, will they?
No,
right.
That's right.
So it's all about your experience and your evening out and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm paid me 20 quid to get in, which isn't a problem.
Yeah.
Took young Courtney with me. Again, not a problem. She was walloping the burgers, bless her. Right. I couldn't get half a pint of beer. How ridiculous. Oh well.
Sorry about that.
It's the serious side of the supporters' engagement is that they're going to try and split up some of the big issues that we want to talk about with the sort of match day experience, and so that's the way we think it's going. So that your half a pint will be solved.
That rule that says halves. We're not Villa. Comment on the right so far about that one. Get a pint and drink half. Yeah, that's
Pete Taylor, I don't blame them for refusing child portions.
Nice one. I've started a good
You've shamed yourself.
I don't care. But look, if I wanted to just have half a beer, I wanted half a beer, and you can't get half a beer. I think it's poor.
Could have done.
I think it's poor.
Could have gone to the bar.
Just drink the top half.
The catering shocking down the Blues, forever running out of stuff and service as slow as our strike force. Mark Hopkins. Well, there you go. It's not just me.
Pay people £7.50 an hour and see what you get.
Yeah. The club have put a survey out. Has everybody got that on their emails?
No. A survey for what?
Asking about the catering and their experience.
It's a hopeless cause. Every 3 weeks, Sharon, who's in charge of the catering, is after staff. Is advertising for staff because people come in. It's £7.50 an hour. They come in, they do their first shift. They have to serve rank beer to people who hate rank beer, and they get abused for it, and they don't come back for the second game, and she has to put adverts out for stuff again for £7.50 an hour. So as bad as it sounds, you're not gonna. It's not Harrods or
Andrew Coe says, get the pint and save the other half for the next match.
Ask him to put it behind the bar for you.
And Jez says half and I'm any ones. And welcome to my old mate Steve Charlie Chester. It's nice of you to join us, mate. Nice one. So back to the game then. So Hull, it's just a monster of a game, isn't it?
I think we have to win that one.
Yep.
I don't think a point is enough.
No.
For the confidence going ahead, there's a 2-week break after the game. I think we must get 3 points from that.
Sunderland 28 played 37.
Yeah. I've done a little spreadsheet. I'll put it on the Facebook page.
Okay.
I've been so busy at work. I've done a spreadsheet at work with everybody's fixtures and how many points I think they're going to get.
Right.
I've had to give us quite a lot to keep us up, unfortunately.
Burton 36 played.
Yeah.
Birmingham 37 played.
Yeah.
Barnsley 36 played. They've got to play each other, haven't they? I think.
No, there's some games tonight. Tomorrow night.
Bolton look like they're pulling clear now with 36. And yet
I think Bolton are ones that could still be caught. More than Hull and Reading.
Reading 36, Hull 36.
Yeah.
And then Sheffield Wednesday pretty much.
I think Sheffield Wednesday are out of it.
38.
Yeah. I think it's
Hull
Hull
jump there to 43 with Queen's Park Rangers. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think Sunderland and Burton are gone.
7 clubs.
I think it's going to take. I've looked at the fixtures they've got. I can't see them getting enough points. Sunderland and Burton.
So you think it's all about that?
I think it's that last spot. I think it's that last spot, and
spot.
I think it's between us and those 4: Barnsley, Bolton, Hull, Reading.
Yeah.
For one spot.
I think Reading are probably the weaker of the teams, to be honest. I think Hull have got Adkins as manager, and I just have a feeling that Adkins could actually get them out of that.
The way they're playing at home suggests that they'll get enough points.
They've all got. Is it Hernandez?
Hernandez.
He's just come back from injury. He's scored 3 times.
Jackson Irvin's playing well.
Someone's took me look at, right? I say it's between us and Barnsley. End of.
Yeah.
Well, if it is. We've got to get more points. We've got to get 3 more points than Barnsley. Get between now and the end of the season. But how gutting that we put in that performance against Barnsley. In a game where they've won once since they beat us back in November, and then we put in that putrid performance.
Yeah.
Which could be the one that ultimately.
And if we go down by a point,
fate.
that's it. That's a gutter. That is. But again, we've got to be optimistic, and you've got to hope that actually that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of it. We'll be looking back on that game saying, "Thank God it didn't matter."
Anybody have a pie the weekend? I didn't get one. I didn't get one Tuesday either. I didn't.
I had one from the Asda Cafe in Cardiff, just across the car.
Any good?
Rated
Need a ranking out of 10.
I'd give it I'll give it an 8 because it come with gravy. Steak and ale.
Cheeky. With gravy?
Gravy in Cardiff.
It was Asda. It's a bit posh. It's a bit posh.
Yeah.
Right, George Ellis made the comment. I was going to bring this one up anyway. I've seen an article the other day. Blues are on the list of companies who underpay employees. Now, there's some...
Just mentioned it.
Some amount of money not been paid to some employees, whether that is through human error or it was through whatever kind
it's
of
not difficult.
Incentive or
it's
discount.
not difficult. Every April, check the minimum wage.
I know it's not.
I think the minimum wage is going to change.
I know
Check
it's not
it.
difficult, but we don't know where that money's gone to or why it was underpaid, do we?
I think
Well, it's because they don't check. They just leave everybody on the salaries they're on the hourly rate that they're on. People don't check the minimum wage update.
I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think it was a mistake around uniforms for a few people.
Right.
So I think the big news.
£20.
I think
Yeah,
the
£20
big
deposit
news
for
story that we're that
Yeah.
we're underpaying people is probably
A little
not
over the top.
a little over the top.
A
I
little
think
bit.
it was a few people, and it was around uniform allowances. I think. We didn't think it was something to get excited about.
No.
To be fair, but
Ray says, Mr. Pugh, if you've done a spreadsheet with your predictions, you should be top of Super 6.
Well, that's the worry. The fact I'm not top of Super 6 is the worry about how good these predictions are. Yeah.
Chris McKenzie, we lose the next 3, and I think we've gone. I think we lose the next 2. I think
Lose
we've
the
gone.
next,
Yeah.
lose the next 3, and we're bottom.
Lose the next 2, and I think we're done.
Yeah.
We need at least 7 points from the next 3 games. Chris Horton is
Yeah.
saying 5 wins on current form, and PPG
5 wins.
Blues could finish on 38 points unless there's an upturn in form.
5 wins is what I've got us needed.
Fulham last game
Yeah.
from Matt Wilkes could be a step too far.
Well, I think we can beat the 3 home games we've got coming up. I think we can beat Hull. I think we're good enough to beat Ipswich at home, who haven't got anything to play for, and I think we're certainly good enough to beat Burton at home. I think we can beat Bolton away as well. Assuming we beat Hull and Ipswich,
Yeah.
the confidence going into that Bolton game, I think we can take that, and I think we could win that as well. And I think the last away game of the season, QPR aren't going to have anything to play for. I think we can go there and win as well. If we have to, I think there's 5 games there that we can win. You're not going to get anything at Wolves. You're not going to get. I don't think you're going to get
That's
anything
my
against
second
Fulham.
biggest scare, is that they're the ones that put us into
Well, they
the
could
rankings.
relegate us, yeah. But let's not think about that.
No, I know, but no. £4.30 for a pint at Cardiff Saturday. Shocking from Robert Doyle. They don't sell half pies. Chris Sheriff, that is
Just get
absolutely
the crust on the top.
Absolutely brilliant. I love that. If we secure championship status for the last game of the season, all presenters go in commando for the Children's Hospital.
Bugger off.
No. I'll give you one guess who that was from.
Oh yeah. Shock.
Would you keep Robert Tesh in the summer, Steve? You wants to know.
Would you?
yeah, I
Would
think
you?
so. I think so.
I think he's a good footballer, but the trouble is, again, he needs players alongside him to bring it out of him.
It's probably as good as anybody we've got
Yeah.
on the ball.
Yeah, he can.
Unfortunately, Gleeson was like that, but it's just there was nothing to him, And whether we saw Tesh as the same sort of player, I think Tesh probably had more of a goal in him than Gleeson.
He's a bit quicker as well.
Yeah.
I think you look at the way he played, the back end of that. Was it first season that
Yeah,
Wright was
he
here?
was on- yeah.
He was really on fire.
Yeah.
He was on fire.
All right, 20 minutes left of the Tilton Talk Show, and we're going to do a quick straw poll now. And it was a question posed by Stuart MacDonald. The question will be asked: when and if we go down, who will renew their season ticket, and who will still go to every home game? Can I just do it on season tickets? You season ticket holders out there, can I just have a yes or a no in the next 5 minutes as to whether you would renew your season ticket for next year
In League One.
in League One? There you go. Next 5 minutes. So why can't they sell pies for us on diets from Andrew Cave?
I've got to give Andrew a shout out. I saw Andrew's tweet to Davo about his weight loss. He's done really well. Lost three shirt sizes, I think.
Has he really? Nice one, well done, Andrew.
So yeah, he's done really well actually. Well done. And he will renew, as will Ray,
Robert Doyle,
as will Gary,
I will renew.
as will Andy, as will Scott, as will Samuel, as will Aaron, as will Janie, Gavin. Yeah. It's looking quite unequivocal.
So
That people will still go. Yeah.
I was expecting a no, at least. I was definitely.
There's not
expecting
one
the
no.
odds. No, there's not one.
There's
No.
not one now. Everybody's
Yes, in any league, Kev Kelly. Dropped from 4 extra
4
large
extras
to extra
to
large. Well done,
yeah,
Andrew.
yeah,
Nice
very
one.
good.
Nice one. Yeah. Steve Cale, I'll be renewing all 3 of mine. Renew addiction is a terrible thing. Yes. Yes. Well,
There you go.
can't bring myself to debate League One. We can't. I know, Kev,
That's
but
true. That's true.
well, yeah, I know what you're saying. I'd
Yeah.
say no, but you never know. It will be yes from Wazza.
They're going to have to look at ticket prices, aren't they? If the worst comes to the worst,
Kev Drew till I
because
die.
I don't think they can. I don't think you can. 'Cause
No.
they're still Premier League prices, aren't they? Really, you look at some of the Premier League team.
I think maybe the lower end of the Premiership, but I think our ticket prices compare pretty well across the Championship as well.
I think wasn't there a survey not so long ago, and I thought
we good.
our prices were pretty low.
One of our ticket prices was the winner.
Is it the 230 one?
Yeah.
So that was the £10. I think there was main stand, wasn't it? In there. But if you're asking people to pay $450, 400, $450 in the Cup for League One, that's steep.
Yeah, loads of seaside towns. doesn't bear thinking about.
No,
it doesn't, because we can't have that coffin backfire on us, can we?
No,
please no. We're in it for the long haul. There's nothing so unpredictable as Blues for life, says Ray. And don't just get a season ticket with the Championship or Prem. We stick by Blues, and that's that. There we go. Yeah. My boys haven't seen us win yet, but they still love it. 5-2, and I've set them up for life, a life of footy pain.
And they haven't seen us win yet. Can you stop bringing them?
Dear me. And Gregory says, welcome from Porthcawl. Welcome to you as well, sir. West Paddock, £230. There you go. All games a tenner. Yeah, we all know the all games a tenner.
All games brilliant.
Just £10. Is it kids for a quid as well?
Yeah,
kids for a quid.
Seniors for £5, I think it is.
Kids under 11, free season ticket with every season ticket.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay. But I heard the railway end was shut last week for flooding, wasn't it?
Yeah, the pipes had burst.
Yes. Yeah. Because I wonder if there's absolutely nobody in there.
Yeah.
And I didn't think there was 18,000 in either.
Middlesbrough bought a few. 1.5, 2. Middlesbrough bring.
Yeah. If we go down, will the players still be on 40 grand a week? I don't know what their contracts say, David. So
I don't think
that's David Curry. Burton £10. Let's get behind them.
Is it Burton £10 as well?
That's what Kevin Damon's saying. Burton £10. Let's get behind them.
Yeah.
How do you mean? Sorry, Chris.
Well, they've got £100 offers, haven't £100 season tickets, I think.
Yeah.
And it depends how long you've had a season ticket as well. I think at Huddersfield it's loyalty as well. However long you've had one, I think it's cheaper.
Yeah. Mark Hopkins says 347 for mine and my lad. Bargain. It's not a bad price, is it?
First season, that's good, yeah.
And Alan Osborne, answer this one, gents, if you could. I really think we won't go bust if we drop down.
We will or we won't? We will go bust if we go down.
I think it depends on how much money the Chinese are prepared to put into the club. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't. The impression one has is they don't actually want the club. They'd rather sell it. If the club goes bust, then they lose everything.
There's a difference between going bust and filing FFP as well.
This
is a different matter because that's about turnover and not whether you've got the liquidity.
Whereas Jez said, question for the trust, Jeffrey Au, our friend Jeffrey in Hong Kong, who's a Blues fan in Hong Kong, says our owners are billionaires, but the thing is, do they want to spend, or is FFP stopping them?
I think that there is a significant potential problem with FFP. I mean, again, everything's gone a bit quiet at the moment. There was a deadline, I think 1st of March, whereby the football clubs were supposed to submit to the EFL their financial numbers. So we're wondering when the EFL are going to come out with information about which clubs have actually failed the FFP rules and which haven't.
Do they have to?
Well, I don't know. That's the uncertain thing. I mean, it's one of the things that I think we as the Trust probably need to try and follow up.
But when you look into, what's the rules around
the
financial fair play and what are the penalties? More about what are the penalties and whether you have to do anything. I think there's a certain bit, it depends who you are, whether you get a penalty and things like that. And so the rules around what penalties you can't find anywhere. People say you can have points deducted and all that lot, but they've never done that, and I don't think they ever will.
No.
I think the transfer embargo is the most likely thing. I think that is actually specified, but I can't actually remember reading anything where they specify any other penalties. And I can't remember whether this was something that someone actually sort of said or whether it's in the rules, but someone said, well, if you don't get promoted, then there's no penalty anyway because you haven't benefited from flouting the financial fair play rules. So, but I don't think that argument holds water myself.
I think points to
we could go for a refund because we've done the opposite of benefit.
We've flaunted the rules and gone down. We'd like our money back, please.
But there is, I mean, there is a rather worrying situation. I mean, God forbid that we don't go down. But I think the rules say in League One that you can't spend more than 65% of your revenue on wages. So that means that we will probably have a wholesale turnover of players if we do go down.
Well, that would have to happen anyway. Another question is from Samuel Robinson. Has any one of you lads heard that Blues are in process of being bought in October or November? It should all be finished.
No,
is this the shadow?
There's rumours around that there was a shadow buyer moving in through a subsidiary company
who spent the money. The Redknapp spent.
There's also a rumour about that actually, as part of the getting shut and the clear out, that the shadow buyer is no longer a shadow buyer. So. I don't know is the answer. I sort of don't mind if there is a buyer for the club, if it's nice and open and somebody wants to sell the club on. You might get some consortiums in this country and stuff like that, or you might get another foreign owner without any money. But if there's an open sale of Birmingham City Football Club, then I don't think that's a particularly bad thing. No. I think the owners. I've got a sneaking suspicion that the owners actually quite like owning a football club, and they're sort of getting into it, and they're understanding that you have to be in it for the long haul if you are going to be into it.
You know, the reputation as a holdings company of buying companies that are floundering and building them up and selling them on for a profit. They don't want to have bought us, made horrible decisions based on whoever's advice, and sell us as a League One club. That goes against their ethos and their name, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that whole thing about we go bust if we go down. I think there is quite a lot of liquidity in equity and assets that they've got.
Certainly more than there was. It's 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Foster's backpack and some empty glasses.
But there's half a pint of Foster's there somewhere. But I think the thing is if they want to take it back, given the worst situation, then they can't go out and just splash cash on it. You have to build it slowly over a period of time because you've got to stay within financial fair play. And if we're either on the limit or just outside it at the moment, it's going to take a transfer window or maybe two of doing very little to be honest.
Kev Kelly says, I think there will be a fire sale, and FFP is very strict in League One. With the benefactor model, they can pump money into the club, but not.
But my understanding of the FFP, the very, very, very basic understanding of it, is it's 39 million loss over 3 years.
That's Dave Twine's take on it as well.
That's right.
The last year was about 12 million, I think. And what was the loss for 6 months recently?
That was 7
for 6 months. Now the year before that was a 5 million loss.
That's right.
Now obviously, so the 39 million over 3 years, we might be okay this year, but next year that 5 million loss goes, and actually you're dealing with 12 million plus 25 million. Next year is the big one there.
The 17 million 6 months loss, not a year.
Yeah, that's right. So you're probably looking at 25 million, 30 million over.
But it is in the holding company.
Yeah,
it's the Blues. It's Birmingham City's accounts that actually go.
Yeah.
So I know, Richard, you've done some work on it, haven't you?
Well, I mean, it's very difficult because there are various other rules about what you can actually take out of the losses, like the ladies' football team and the youth academy and this sort of thing. So those costs can be excluded.
Yeah.
But having said all of that, I think the situation is that we're sailing close to the wind because, like you said, we've got 5 million loss a couple of years ago, 17 million, I think, last year, and another 17 million in half a year.
Yeah.
The football club is the principal asset of the holding company, and therefore the profits in the football club mirror pretty closely.
Yes.
The losses in the football club mirror pretty closely the losses in the holding company. So there are all kinds of sort of flaky elements around it. But
I saw a couple of people mentioning about Butland, the Butland rumours going to Liverpool for 40 million. Now, I think it's 20% on everything over 3.5, so you could be looking at 7-8 million that could be coming into us on that transfer if that goes through, which would certainly be a boost.
Just on another item here, Chris Sheriff says for £1 you can support our future Blues under-18s FA Youth Cup semi-final first leg against Chelsea, which will be played at St Andrews on Wednesday the 4th of April and kick off at 7 p.m.
Well, it's well behind
let's
that.
get down there.
Everybody for £1. £1
for
one tiny pound.
For those under-18s to get to the semi-final of an FA Youth Cup against Chelsea, who Chelsea and Man City have been running that competition for the last few years, so it'll be brilliant to get behind those kids and give them the backing that they deserve to get where they've got to.
Yeah, I mean, again, it does show that there's a future there for the club. If
the
we could bring those,
working well.
If we could bring those kids through. I mean, one of the things that's frustrated me slightly is when you look down the list of our squad, there's quite a lot of young players there, and they don't ever seem to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, is that because they're not good enough, or is it just because they don't want to throw them in a tricky situation? Or why is it we're not trying out some of those kids?
I reckon if we were where Ipswich are now, we'd have seen Ronan Hale, Wes Harding, etc.
To be fair, Steve Cowell says play the youth next season if we go down with 2 or 3 experienced heads around them. VSO, Lakin, Bailey, McFarlane, McDonald, etc. will all do a job. If we just be patient with them and let them develop, that will sort us out for FFP if we go down. So that could be a very good shout.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely spot on. Yeah.
Definitely.
5 minutes to go. We'll have 7 million from Butland. Adrian's laughing at that. Do the maths. You're an accountant.
Well, I think it is about 7 million. Yeah. If it's a 40 million transfer fee.
And Alan Osborne is saying Southampton has sacked their manager.
That's not a great surprise.
And Sharon Hudson says hi, Nick. She didn't say hi to you or to Chris. Just me.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Just me. Don't worry. I'll get a kick when I get home. Right, 5 minutes to go.
It always flies.
When are we going? When we meet again next Monday? Prediction.
We'll be on 33 points.
What kind of mood are we going to be in?
Yeah, we'll be optimistic.
For the next 4 minutes until we finish, predictions for the Hull game. Here we go. Your prediction.
2-0
Blues.
2-1.
2-1 Blues.
3-1.
3-1. We're going to score 3.
Oh yes.
Mrs. Brown. Lose 1-0. That's what I just repeated. Yeah. Lose 1-0.
You miserable sod.
I've done exactly the opposite. Reverse psychology.
Well, I tried that last week.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to go along with a 2-0 win. A 2-0 win. But I'm stuttering. We have to win that game.
There's no alternative for that.
It is fundamental. Yeah. Fundamental.
We said about the Millwall game.
Pete Taylor's going to draw 2-2.
Oh, not good enough.
Chris McKenzie 1-1.
Not good enough, guys.
Doyle 2-1. Sam Robinson 3-1 or 4-1. Believe Blues will start scoring goals. Do you know what? We could have had quite a few against Cardiff from the Islands.
Yeah, well, Morrison had a chance from Hotter's corner, which you think you're not even. I've watched it a couple of times. I'm genuinely not even sure how he's missed it. How has the keeper saved it? But like you said, it was 20 minutes left. Was that?
It was going in.
If that goes in at 3-2 with 20 minutes left, we could sneak something from that. I think there are.
It could have been a very different story through there as well, couldn't it?
It could have,
He offered to do the programme in the Raw if we got anything from that game.
At half time.
Once we'd gone 3-0 down.
Bit of a sweat on in the last
Just want to give a quick shout out to the Blues Ladies development side. The first team aren't back in action. Obviously the internationals have just happened, but the development side played FA development semi-final against Reading on Sunday and won 1-0 in extra time. So they play. I think they play Man City, Shakara, in the final, which will be at St George's Park, I think. Not quite sure when that is, but so Georgia Popple scored the goal, I think. So final against Man City at St George's Park for the development side, and the first team are back in action on the 25th of March.
Let's apologise to our ladies tonight. We've had a very busy schedule tonight. Obviously, we want to get as much info gleaned from you guys as we possibly could.
We should have representation from Blues ladies
coming
in the next couple of weeks.
And our long-staff with Southampton sacking their manager and West Brom look like sacking their manager soon. Do you think we were lucky to get Monk when we did? Let's answer that question next Monday.
Ask me that at the end of the season. I think certainly he would have been in contention with those two jobs.
And Adrian wants to know, does that mean Rowett is favourite to get the Southampton job?
Probably.
He's already been, probably. Yeah. Allegedly, sorry. Ooh, my words. Well, gents, great to see you again, Cliff and Richard. Cliff and Richard, always welcome. Friends of the show, friends of the Tilton Talk Show. Thanks so much, Chris, for all your input tonight. Thank you, Mrs. Brown. Thank the team also from the Birmingham Homeless Support Unit. Please try and support them guys as much as you possibly can. They're doing a very difficult job in very difficult circumstances. So we're in a good mood next Monday.
Very well.
Better mood next Monday. And if the others around us can drop some points as well, please, that would help.
Come on, Ipswich tomorrow night. Come on, Norwich tomorrow night. And Wolves and Sheffield United.
Desperate times once again. Another year has gone past and we're still talking about a relegation squad. We were here this time last year. We are here this year. What we're going to do next year?
No idea.
Right, thanks ever so much to you people for joining in, and thank you very much everybody that's been around tonight. Great team of people, wonderful people to work alongside, and thanks ever so much for your support. Thousands upon thousands of you already listened in tonight. I think the last time I refreshed was about 4.4 thousand. That was already the thing. Lots of people watch it obviously on YouTube and SoundCloud. SoundCloud we're on? Yeah. What, sorry? Yeah. YouTube and everywhere. And then obviously people, when they wake up around the world, will log into this and put it on while they're having a shave in the morning.
They don't cut themselves.
Yeah, well, the thing is, that's how it gets up to the figures. I mean, the figures are tremendous. 37,000 last week. 37,000 people last week. That's double our crowd, isn't it?
Well, it shows people passion for the club.
But it shows that there is a massive voice out there, and by pulling everybody together, every single one of these Facebook groups, and everybody tuned in together, and all joined in with the Blues Trust, then you could make a difference. Okay, gents.
Probably the most impassioned speech ever to be made over Living Doll.
I didn't even hear it, to be honest with you.
Have we got to start singing to this?
Yeah, go for it. No, I'll do it. Let's have it. You've offered.
Oh, no. Some things would shut you down.
Okay, right on, everybody. Let's hope we get 3 points. 3 points. 3 points this weekend. 3 points.
Yeah, here we go.
Thanks, guys.
She's living down, got her open eye, and that is why she satisfies my soul. Got the one and only walking peace, the greatest gift that I possess. I thank the Lord that I've been blessed with more than my share of happiness. To me, this world is a wonderful place. I'm the luckiest human in the human race. I've got no silver and I've got no gold, but I've got happiness in my soul. Happiness to me is an ocean tide, a sunset fading on a mountainside, a big old heaven full of stars above, when I'm in the arms of the one I love. Oh, happiness, happiness, the greatest gift that I possess. I thank the Lord that I've been blessed with more than my share of happiness. Happiness is a field of grain, turning its face to the falling rain.